Old school car audio aficionados unite as I show some donations to my channel from Paul from Massachusetts. Thank you very much. Let's get all the goodies out of both boxes and we'll talk about everything later in the video. Holy moly. This dude sent me blues off. Just as a backstory, I was contacted by Paul via email and said, hey, I've got one of these acoustic bass pumps, the 6.5-inch model. I see you have the 8-inch model. Would you like for me to send it to you? I was like, sure, why not? Had no idea he was going to send me all this other stuff, including these Pyramid 438 GS. These are 4-inch two-way coaxial speaker system. $80 back in 1990, equivalent to $192 today if you can find somebody who really wants them. It's still kind of amazing to me to find these old kind of flea market things that are still brand new. Let's move on to something a little bit more fancy. The Extant 202M from 1998. This retailed for $300 back then, which is equivalent to about $578 in 2024. This is a really cool 2-channel amplifier. And we'll move on to something a little bit more desirable. The Elite Graphic Equalizer. This is the model 707, 125 plus 125 watts equals 250. We have no idea what this thing cost back in the day. Probably Flea Market Freddy special for $49.99, normally $499. We're going to say it's worth $0 today because I don't think anybody really wants this. But you guys know me. I like this oddball, crazy stuff from the flea market, from the old school. If you want to see me amp dyno this, we know it's just a head unit. But still, if you want to see me amp dyno it, let me know below. We're going to move on. What do we have next? Check out in the back. We have Rockwood Series 7 Detonator. We can't even spell detonator. Gold Series 2. This is the anti-theft pull-out chassis AM/FM MPX radio with auto reverse. Has a RCA jack. Has a gold warranty. Can't stand for the silver. We got to have the gold. And here it is, the XR780 from 1996. According to the guides I could find, this thing listed for $400. Yeah, right. I'm sure it was like $79.99. But if it was $400, that would be equivalent to about $800 in 2024. As you can see, there's a $15 price on the package here. So somebody got it for 15 bucks and they still haven't used it. As we move on, we also find here the BassPump from Acoustic. Now, this is the thing he originally contacted me. He was going to send me the BassPump 326, which is a 6.5-inch dual speaker model here of the Acoustic BassPump. This retailed for $200 back in 1995. That's equivalent to around $412 in 2024. I was told by Ray Rayfield at Linear Power that Acoustic was sued by Linear Power back in the day for copying their design, and they had to stop making these. So I'm not sure how long they made them, but I have seen several of these posted online. You can see here it just has 2 speakers wired facing each other kind of at an angle. This is designed to be free air in the rear of your deck of your car. And yeah, we're going to talk about that later because I'm going to do a video of actually both of the ones that I have, and we'll talk about them more. Next up, we have LA Sound. This is a 30-band EQ, the 1030 from 1993, $300. Now, this is a single channel equalizer, kind of like the audio control EQT from back in the day. People would have two of these, one for the left, one for the right channel, and gave you precise control over all the different frequencies that you might need to control. Pretty cool device here. What I really like about these old school LA Sounds is the font they use, and you'll see that here in a minute when I show it. It does have an equalization button there as well as a subsonic filter, in addition to adjustment controls for all 31 bands, which is a third octave. Very, very cool device here. Here is the equalization in and out, the subsonic filter. We also have clip, fuse, and power LEDs. Again, check out that very cool font. Let's move on to the Thump. That's right, Thump subwoofers, the PT100s. Now, I couldn't find this exact model in any of my guides, so I'm not sure if it's from 93 or if it's from later. It's possible it could be later because this is the Pro version, and these were feared throughout all the competition circuits. I think the only subwoofer that ever truly beat it was the Funky Pup. So this is 200 watts PT100 Thump. This is from Mobile Authority, because they were the authority back in the day. Authority of who? I'm not real sure. But anyway, these are made in China. But yeah, and there's the Mobile Authority that goes around the magnet structure. But if we look closer, the sticker on back of the magnet, they were based out of Compton, California back in the day. That's right, Easy E rolled some Thump Pros by Mobile Authority. I seriously doubt that. Anyway, let's move on to the next item here. These are Optimus speakers, 5 1/4 inch 12-1714s from 1992. These were $22.99 in the old Radio Shack catalog. That's about $52 in 2024. Flush mount 5 1/4 speaker systems. Yeah, these are really nice. 20 watts capacity per pair, 2-inch mounting depth, 2.9 ounce magnet. Hold on to your hats, my friends. But we're not done yet. We have more. That's right, we have component speakers from Toshiba. Who knew Toshiba made car audio? The TS962S includes a 6-inch woofer and a 3/4 inch dome tweeter for your woofing and tweeting needs. The component systems from back in the day, it seems like everybody was making these. 3/4 inch dome tweeter, polyamide with a neodymium magnet, and a 6-inch woofer. Had a mica design. I don't know who Micah's friend was to help design these. But yeah, I think these are around $100 back in the day. Sometime the early 90s, 92 to 94, something like that. And yeah, so there you have it. They're brand new, never been opened. We'll open them maybe in a future video and take a closer look at them, see what they look like. I bet they're pretty cheap, but hey, still very cool to see them brand new. And last but absolutely not least, this one really shocked me, is the Blues Audio, Blues Car Audio ISO Kit 10. These are available from sometime the early 90s to the late 90s. $465 retail price back then, $985 in 2024. We'll talk about a comparison here in a minute, but check this out. The way the two woofers are mounted isobarically with a nice little ring around the front here. What's really cool about it is it mounts in a standard 12-inch enclosure. Only needs 3/4 cubic foot sealed, and you can mount it either way. And if you obviously mount it with the woofer facing in, then you can see all the goodies there on the backside. Wish they had made the baskets look a little bit cooler. That would have been, especially the one on the very back. But overall, this is super slick. You don't see very many of these. Now, Blues Car Audio was purchased by Linear Power back in the day. Linear Power owns all the copyrights, etc. from Blues Car Audio. And they even offer the ISO kits now on their website. If you go to linearpower.com, I'll leave a link in the description below. They have all the different specifications, 300 watts, 32 hertz resonant frequency, everything else you need, even the MSRP of $930. That's right, get out your checkbook or warm up your credit card. All this was sent from Paul G. out of Burlington, Massachusetts. Thank you so much, Paul. Greatly appreciate your kind donation of the flea market stuff as well as the not so flea market stuff. You know I appreciate all that. Till next time, this is Big D. We'll check some of this out. I'm out of here.